GOP sees turnout disaster without Donald Trump. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video today. It is time that we talk about the 2024 presidential election and how, at this point in time, the Republican Party has really only one candidate that could win. And you know what? Who I'm going to say? Donald Trump. It's getting to a point where even the GOP is realizing Trump is the only option in 2024. Not just the best option. Realistically, of the major candidates, he is the only option that could win the election next year. I'm not even saying that, well, I personally believe most of that, but the GOP is admitting that at this point. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. Now, again, let me be clear. I'm not going to say that Ohio and Iowa would flip, though. There is an argument to be made that they would be closer without Trump, or a Trumpian-like candidate. And we're going to go into what a Trump-like candidate is, because I think a lot of people, they think, just yell and, scream and all that stuff. It's like, no, we'll get to it. But let's talk about this. The GOP sees turnout disaster without Trump. That is right. The party itself is starting to realize they have a big problem with Donald Trump. Republican strategists are worried that if former President Trump doesn't secure the GOP's nomination next year, or if he's kept off the ballot because of his mounting legal problems, it could spell a voter turnout disaster for their party in 2024. GOP strategists say there's growing concern that if Trump is not the nominee, many of his core supporters, who are estimated to make up 25 to 35% of the party base, will quote-unquote take their ball and go home. That's right. And what they mean about the 25-35%, and actually, Rich Barris had a poll, and I believe it was like 25% of Trump voters, they wouldn't vote for the nominee if it's not Trump. These are the Obama-Trump voters. These are the ones that they probably never voted Republican ever. Maybe Reagan. But certainly not the last 20 years. They're your blue-collar, factory worker from Michigan. Your rural voter in Wisconsin. In Pennsylvania, etc. Northeastern Ohio. They're the blue-collar voter in the Midwest. That's the best way to put it. And they've usually been a Democrat voter for their entire lives, especially the last 20 years. But recently, there has been a shift towards the GOP, but it was a pathetic shift. It was like a point shift under Romney. It's like, that's not going to turn the election over. But Trump came in and, he flipped countless blue-collar Democrats across the country, especially in the Midwest, where there are high concentration of them. And that's how he won 2016. He flipped many Obama voters to his side. Now, a lot of people are going to say, turnout's a reason that Clinton lost. But it's like, you look at the demographics and you look at precinct data, if it had 2012 turnout, it probably would have been closer in, Wisconsin. But it looks like Trump would have won. Even Wisconsin in 2016, if it was 2012 turnout. I'm just saying this idea that he would have lost it because, Clinton, it's like, no. I think Trump would have won 2016. I know Clinton was a weak candidate, or some may say, but it's like Trump had lower favorabilities. The argument with Clinton you can make with Trump even more. But the reason he won those voters was because of issues like trade. And I know I've beaten that like a dead horse, but it's true. Trump was against these garbage trade policy with Mexico, with China, with Japan, where, oh, we're just going to, ship our jobs overseas and we're going to get some cheap plastic in return. That's what was happening. We got nothing out of it. Sure, GDP grew by 0.1%, but many high-paying blue-collar jobs in Michigan, in Wisconsin, were shipped overseas to China. That's a big part of why Trump won. And that's why, when you look at the rest of the field, it's a disaster. Because most of these voters, they are for free trade. DeSantis, for example, there's private meetings that leaked that, no, I'm going to be the globalist, I'm going to be the free trade candidate. Go look it up. Somebody accidentally recorded that, but it's like, there is proof that DeSantis, especially his congressional record, he's not going to be a protectionist. Far from it. Mike Pence, that's his weakest suit, the economy. Actually, foreign policy, but that's another thing. Foreign policy. Of all the candidates, who would want to stop the war with Russia peacefully? Trump and Ramaswamy. That's it. The rest? Mike Pence wants to continue war. I mean, he said that it doesn't matter what's happening in America. We gotta focus on Ukraine. All these other idiots would get us involved in more garbage wars, except maybe Ramaswamy. Immigration? Well, Trump has a record on it. He did lower immigration, and he did almost finish the wall. That's true. There was a map by, I believe, by the border agents, I believe, or Department of Homeland Security. There was a map of the wall that was being built, and they took it down because it made Trump look good. Because yes, he didn't build the entire wall. However, there were heavy repairs with many parts of it. But that's the key. Many voters in the Midwest, in Wisconsin, they care about these issues. And Trump was the only one that was actually talked about it. And it helped him. I don't get why the GOP is finally realizing now we have to appeal to them. It must be they did probably a survey and they realized, oh crap, 25% of Trump voters, or the base is Trump voters, they may not just vote. They're just not going to vote at all. And the funny thing is, they're worried about Ohio. The Republican strategists said flat out, folks are interested in how this plays out. That's, of course, the indictment stuff. And so I think right now, they would be happy if Trump's the nominee. In Ohio, it's not true across the country, because then his coalition will turn out in November. That's right. Guys, if Republicans struggle in Ohio, what do you think's going to happen in Wisconsin? What do you think's going to happen in Michigan? What do you think's going to happen in Pennsylvania? They're going to get blown out of the water because Ohio is very similar to that of the rest of the Rust Belt. Very similar. It's just a bit more Republican. I just cannot believe it took them 10 years to realize you win the election by getting Trump voters out. Now, how can the GOP adapt to this in the future? Well, one, continue the popular policies of Trump. Trade protectionism, defend Social Security, defend Medicare, end the nonsensical wars. Also, actually get stuff done. Trump did get a lot done despite Congress being useless for 4 years. That's the thing. He got stuff that he said he was going to do done. He helped overturn Roe versus Wade. I mean, it's just common sense. If you do your job, you're going to be popular, especially within your own party. So I am hoping that the GOP, they adapt completely to this blue-collar, working-class party. And of course, middle class, of course. I'm just saying that this idea of trying to appeal to both the 04 Bush coalition and the 2020 Trump coalition, that ain't going to work. The Bush coalition is dead, figuratively and literally. A lot of the Bush voters, guess what? They were older. A lot of them are dead now because of age. Not all of them, of course, but a good chunk. America's not what it was 20 years ago. And based on everything we're seeing, every polling metric, Trump is our best option for 2024. And I'm glad the GOP, whether they're being truthful or not, or they're being honest with themselves, or what I should say is they're actually, understanding it or not, or they're just using it for a grift. It doesn't matter. I'm glad the GOP is finally talking about we are screwed, especially in 2024, without Trump or a Trumpian-like candidate. Because say what you will about Trump. Name a Republican that can win Wisconsin. Only Ron Johnson. And that's because it's Ron Johnson. You're not going to be able to clone him. Michigan, it hasn't gone Republican since, when, 88? Pennsylvania, same deal. All these Rust Belt states, they vote for Republicans if they're like Trump. It's factual. And this idea of you're going to win the election through the Sun Belt, you mathematically can't. You mathematically cannot win the election through just Georgia and Arizona. You got to win a Rust Belt state. Something. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below. Subscribe. Share with your friends. Hit that little bell. Follow the social media accounts in the description down below. And of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.